with Deepa Lakshmin, Director of Social Media at Lonely Planet. And what a fun job.
So fun.
How did you, get involved with this?
Yeah, so I'm a journalist at heart. I got my start in entertainment journalism, and then I moved into social media by doing social media for newsrooms. And then I had a short stint at an ad agency. I worked in tech for a while, but all along I was freelancing. I still was doing travel freelancing as well, and I wrote a couple chapters of the New York City guidebook for Lonely Planet, one of their New York City guidebooks, because they've got so many guidebooks for places all over the world, of course. And then a couple of years later, when they were looking for a social media director, I applied and got the job.
That's awesome. What's your favorite part of the job?
Oh, I mean, just the fact that I get to think about all the amazing places in the world, get to hear about amazing places in the world. I feel like the running joke is that the world is almost our product. And it's like, who doesn't want to get to explore the world? It's so fun.
That's a great, that's a great thought. The world is your product. Essentially, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to ask, you did the New York travel books, or, you wrote for some of the travel guides.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the, we're here in New York. What's the one thing, the one place that you would tell somebody they have to go who's never been?
Who's never been here?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly,
I know, so many.
I know. I really think it's touristy, but you've got to do the typical, greatest hits of New York. You just got to do it. There's so much to appreciate and see. Times Square, you got to do it at least once. You got to go and, go to you have to see the Empire State Building. You have to walk the city. I think the most important thing that you can do if you're visiting New York for the first time is just walk everywhere, because you get such a good lay of the land by doing that. And it's such a walkable city. It's how locals do it. We walk everywhere. Mm-hmm. So you can't really replace just getting some good walking shoes on and going. And that's how I got to know the city when I first moved here. Oh gosh. Almost 13 years ago now.
Look
so
at you.
That's
You're
what I did.
Official New Yorker.
Been here a long time now.
Well, you've worked in media, which is cool, on the journalism side. So you kind of understand what it's like working with PR people, working with pitches, those sorts of things. And there's a lot of PR people here at the summit. So what advice do you have for PR teams that want to tell a really good story? I feel like telling a good story is part of your brand, and then telling it on social is another level.
Yeah, so you're talking about specifically on social or just in general?
Just in general.
Just in general. I mean, honestly, for social too. I don't know why I asked that. It's just always personal storytelling. So leaning into the people and their experience, I think, is really important. And that's what's going to help stick out in the sea of sameness. It's people's individual stories, their lived experience. That is what's going to kind of have that staying power, because people don't really remember what, a logo in the way that they remember, hey, somebody was talking about this really interesting and powerful thing, and that stuck with me, and that piece of advice I still refer back to now. That is something that is what real brand halo is, because you are helping people share their voices and their experiences and then relate to other people, which what could be more human than that?
I love that brand halo. That's such a good saying, which kind of leads me to my next question in terms of, a lot of people do these one-off campaigns, but how do you, go from that to developing a longer-term strategy for a campaign, like you said, achieving that brand halo and keeping people in?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first step is just not even calling it a campaign, because it's something bigger than that. At Lonely Planet, when we thought about developing our creator program, we didn't call it a campaign because it wasn't just a one-time thing in our mind. We wanted to build something that had legs, that we knew would last for a long time. And we really started with this first year of thinking of it as a pilot for something bigger. So I would think about it what do you want it to be at the end? So we really worked backwards. We made up a fake press release on week one and worked backwards from that. So we had our blue sky press release, how would we announce this big, exciting thing to the world? It was full of things that were wildly unrealistic for our budget. But you know what? We needed to get it on paper because we had to say, this is what we wanted to do. And it was fun. Also, it was fun to dream big and kind of just be what can we do if there were no rules, if money wasn't part of the equation, what would we do? And then we just worked backwards and kind of from there figured out, okay, this is what we're going to do in the next 3 months, 6 months. And this is what success looks like 1 year from now. And eventually, spoiler, that fake press release eventually became our real press release that we walked back, obviously. But it was, it formed the basis for what ended up being our real press release out to publicists when this launched in March 2026.
Well, that's great. So that's a rather new program for you guys.
Very new program, but it's been in the works for over a year. Okay. So we took our time. We did not try to rush to get something out that was half-baked. Mm-hmm. Instead, we really thought about what is the foundation for this? How do we get the right people on board? How do we make sure they're trained to represent our brand? And how do we make sure they're being set up for success, not just for the short term, but also a year from now? So as a result, we have 20 to 30 creators representing destinations all around the world. We have somebody on every single continent except Antarctica.
Someday.
And they're creating anywhere from 4 to 6 social first videos for us over the next year. So that's a huge volume of content. And all of this content is paid. We established net new contracts with them, that it's an annual program. And we really get to know them on a long-term basis. It's a close collaboration. In my panel today, I was talking about how you can't have collaboration without conversation. Mm-hmm. And that's really what it is. It's been so much back and forth conversation. And that's been really great to help us become better, for them to become better, for us to learn from each other. We can bring the wisdom of over 50 years of travel guidance, and they can bring to us what they're seeing happening in their destinations on the ground, because we're not there with them, because myself and the majority of my team are based in New York. Mm-hmm. So they pitch their ideas to us, and we're able to help amplify them in a way that makes sense for the Lonely Planet brand and would be interesting to our audience just organically, regardless of who it was coming from.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because I feel like of the influencer industry, I feel like travel creators and influencers are kind of like the OGs. You have beauty and like travel, and those are the people that were doing it first, really, and sharing photos and sharing videos and just putting the experience out there on social for people to see. And you guys are, as a brand, have been around for a while. What was the reasoning behind starting a program like this?
Oh man, I mean, I had been thinking about it since I started at Lonely Planet almost 4 years ago. I wanted us to be telling a lot more personal stories on the ground. And in this day and age, that also means making sure we have the visual components for that. And I saw that travel creators were just going out and doing this as it is. And social media has quickly become one of the top sources of travel inspiration. So it just seemed like a gap. Why wouldn't we be doing this? Why wouldn't we be doing this in a more structured way that enabled us to amplify these already great stories? We have this huge, huge audience, and then you have all these talented local and travel creators making these great stories. Why shouldn't we be working with them to help them get that bigger audience as well? It just seems like a win-win. And that's what we found. Even in the short time since we've launched, it's been really great. And it's also been really amazing to see how creators have responded to it. It's just been, we've gotten overwhelming positive feedback. And that means so much to me. I want us to be a team that creators want to work with. Just, as much as I'm sure creators want to be a creator that brands want to work with, right? So it's a partnership, and that's really how we see it, and it's going to evolve. And that's why we did it fully in-house, because we knew as we got into things, it was going to be, we maybe wouldn't have gotten some things right. We knew we were going to evolve with the creators that we brought onto the program, and they would help shape what it would become. So everyone we brought on were people who understood that mission and felt in alignment with that. And that's also why keeping it in-house was nice, because we were able to move quickly, make decisions. We just weren't fully sure on exactly how things would go, and this gave us the opportunity to kind of be nimble and really be honest with ourselves on okay, next month what we're doing might look a little bit different, and that's okay, because we're figuring it out as we go, and we're learning as we're going, and we're iterating, and we're optimizing. So now we have a much clearer picture of kind of the lay of the land that we did a year ago, but that means progress, which is all you can really ask for at the end of the day.
Yeah. And one last question. If you're a brand and you're looking to work with creators, what's your top tip as they go into it? I know there's a lot involved, but you could give them one big tip. What would it be? You've got to be on social media, and you've got to be scrolling through the type of content that you want on your channel. You have to understand it. You have to understand how creators are telling those stories.
rather than just like seeing it on a deck or seeing it like in a thought leadership post or something like that. You've got to actually be in the platform, seeing how it's done natively, understanding how those native tools work. Because if you don't, it's going to be really hard to then have that type of back and forth conversation and collaboration, because you're going to be not understanding where the creator is coming from, or they won't understand where you're coming from. And that, I think, goes a long way. I always say to my team, and we're a small, scrappy team. It's myself and 2 other people that are on the social team full-time in-house at Lonely Planet. It's really that we're all in it. We're all in the comments together. We're all in the weeds posting things. We're all looking at the different tools and the constantly shifting algorithms. But that's so important because it means we know what's going on and we know how to work with the creators who are coming to us. And when they have an idea, we can say, oh, we saw this thing. Oh, we saw that thing. Or, oh, we understand what you say when you say, like, this thing is impossible. Like, we get it. We understand, like, we're going through something similar. So we can kind of have that close peer-to-peer relationship in a way that is really fruitful for both our audiences. I think it just helps everybody become ultimately better at what they're doing.
Yeah, a mutual respect then between the both of you. Well, thank you so much for your time, Deepa. We appreciate it.
I appreciate it.